Hi there everyone, my name is Zach and welcome to my channel. Amongst other things, I'm a reenactor and a jouster, and today I want to talk about personal experience and how that comes into historical reenacting. Now, having a personal experience of the past is one of the main reasons why a lot of us get into the hobbies that we do, whether that be HEMA, reenacting, HMB, jousting, or all sorts of things. But personal experience isn't everything, and in fact there are some issues that can come up if we read too much into our own personal experiences. So I thought it would be good to make a video about this, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on it as well. So please do leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on this particular subject. So one of the big things that I've come across in myself, one of the mistakes that I make, is to generalize too much from my own experience. Very often, as a reenactor and a jouster, my own experiences lead me to think a particular way, maybe prefer a particular piece of armor over another, or that sort of thing. And that opinion isn't actually shared by everyone else in the reenacting community. So there's no reason why I should expect that that opinion should be shared by historical people as well. Certainly, there are plenty of reenactors that would agree with me, plenty of jousters that would agree with me, some who wouldn't. And historically, that would be the same as well. So I can't generalize my own opinions, whether they're based on personal experience or not, to say everyone in the past would have thought like me. A really good example that backs this up is in René of Anjou's tournament book, where he goes into detail about what he thinks is the best way to run a tournament. He also gives a little bit of detail about another type of tournament that he isn't so keen on, basically because the people in those tournaments wear armor that he thinks is a bit ugly. That people were having that conversation back in medieval times is really quite funny to me, because you see that sort of thing all over the internet, in reenacting forums, on the Facebook groups, and that sort of thing. Things like, how heavy should an armor be? How protective do I need things? How much air do I need when I'm fighting? All of those can be down to personal preference. Even things like, what weapon do I want to use? That is a personal preference thing, and so therefore we cannot generalize based on our own experiences beyond the fact that some people would have shared our particular opinion. The second thing is that we need to be aware of our historical inaccuracies so that we don't generalize backwards into the past. A really good example of this comes from the jousting world. For a long time, modern jousters mostly use balsa tips that had been pre-weakened in their jousting. And in fact, most jousters, I would say, probably, worldwide, are still jousting in that style. In that style of jousting, you don't really need a lance rest in order to get a good break, and so many jousters don't use them. You also don't need a handguard on the lance, and you don't need to use the bouche, which is the cutout in the shield here, in order to rest your lance. However, in recent years, tests with completely authentic lances have shown that those things are in fact very necessary, and some jousters have received some pretty nasty injuries from not using a completely historical protection with a completely historical lance. You also need to think about whether your aims and your mindset match up with a historical mindset. For most of us, reenacting, jousting, fighting, whatever it may be, is a hobby that is not part of our main life. And as such, we don't really want it to affect our main life too much. We aim to get hurt as little as possible and really don't want things like broken bones or big cuts to be a big part of our hobby. However, sword fighting, jousting and tournaments were all a very different part of the lives of the people who originally took part in them. These were a way for people to test themselves for war, and a way to show off their prowess to people who might be hiring them, even to people who they might want to get married to. As such, these people were much more willing to take bigger risks because the payoff was much bigger. This can really alter the way that they did things, the equipment that they used, and what they were willing to do and go through compared to us, who are, most of us need to be back at our jobs on a Monday morning. Well, I hope this rather short video has given you a few things to think about. I don't really think I've got any massive point here, but what I wanted to do was to get people thinking about the limitations of their own experience in these things and realize that there are some big discrepancies between the way that we think and the way that a historical person doing the same or similar activities would be thinking. These differences might make some big changes in the way that they act and the equipment that they're using compared to us. And if we're aware of that, then we can think around it and critically think about how valuable our personal experiences are compared to historical evidence. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, so please do leave a comment down below. If you like this video, please do like it. Please share and subscribe. All of that is really, really helpful for me, and it's really encouraging to get those. Thanks very much for coming, and I look forward to seeing you all soon. Bye bye.